Hello and welcome to Henry Clarke's Band in the Box channel. This is Henry Clarke's channel where I show you guys how to get just that little bit more out of the Band in the Box product. Now, one of the complaints are always about Band in the Box styles is that they seem not to have current styles, right? Well, I agree. I think some of the styles, especially the type of music that I like to do, some of the styles are a bit lacking. But through a combination of MIDI and some real tracks, a lot of times I can get closer to that particular song or that particular style, because to me, I'm really about the feel of the music and not necessarily about the actual style itself, but the feel of the music. And if I can duplicate the feel of the music, then I can kind of get that song going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how I did that with this Earth, Wind & Fire song, right? Again, I don't know if you know it or not. Lights of fire, create desire, make it higher. Right? Excuse my singing. It's been a while, right? But that's the way of the world by Earth, Wind & Fire, and it's the feel that I was after, right? Because if I have that feel, I can take that feel and I can do a lot of different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I got that feel. And again, if I want to keep that feel, I can actually change chords. I can do all kind of stuff because it's the feel that I'm really after. So I'm going to start from scratch just to start a new version. So I'm going to do a new version, and I'm not even going to save it. I'm just going to do a new version and new song right off the bat, right? Song is saved, closing. No, I'm not going to save, right? So how did I do that? Well, first thing I did was I went and I got the MIDI file, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go open. I'm going to open Special, and I'm going to open a MIDI file. Now I go to my MIDI library. I have a MIDI library of MIDI tunes that I keep, and I'm going to bring in the MIDI file for this particular song, and this is the MIDI file for this particular song, and it's right here. That's the Way of the World. This is the one that I want. So I'm going to open that MIDI file up. As I open the file up, there's the MIDI file. You notice that all of these mean nothing because they don't play anything, because when you play a MIDI file, everything is being played through the sequencer. And that's very important. So that's why you don't see anything pegged here, even though it says bass, piano, drums, guitar, and so on and so forth, right? Nothing's going to happen there. It's only going to play the music through the sequencer. So now if I actually play the song, and the sequencer happened to have loaded onto the melody track. Very important, it's on the melody track. So if I play the song now, and I'm not going to play the intro, I'll play the intro just so you can hear it. And it's a really good MIDI file too. That's very important, is to have these cheap MIDI files. I'm not a huge fan of those, right? But this is the actual MIDI file of that song. So that's the song itself, right? So what do I want? I want that feel. That's what I want. I'm not concerned about the melody. I'm not concerned about all the other accents. I just want that overall feel. I want that drum beat. I want that synchronization between the drum and the bass. I want the chord structure. That's what I want. I can change those later as long as I get that particular feel. So how am I going to do that when everything is on the melody track? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my sequencer, which is right here, the green button. I'm going to go to my sequencer. I'm going to open my sequencer up. Sequencer is on the melody track. I'm going to open my sequencer, and these are the channels that are being used. We've got channel 1, bright piano, fretless bass, electric piano, tenor sax, so on and so forth, right? All I want, because I've got my chords when I loaded out the MIDI file, so all I want is I want that drum track. That drum track and those chords are what I'm really, really after. So I'm going to go take and extract all of those other channels except for the drum track from the actual track that I have playing right now. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to go here to Edit. I'm at Edit, and I'm going to go Copy Special. And I'm going to do a move, not a copy. I'm going to move the tracks. I'm going to move all of the tracks except for the drum track. That is the only track that I want to keep. So right here where it says all or none, I'm going to leave all checked, but I'm going to uncheck track 10 because the drums are on channel 10. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to move the MIDI to another destination track, I'm sorry, and I'm going to move the audio to another destination track. So when I do that, and it came up as utility 1, so that's fine. So I'm going to use utility 1, and I'm going to move all of the other MIDI instruments over to utility 1. It's not going to sound great because all of these instruments are clashing, but I'm not going to use those. Again, it's the feel of this song that I am really, really after. So I'm going to do that. So again, I moved over to utility 1. If I do that, I click OK, and notice utility 1 highlighted in yellow. So now what I have is I have the drums on the melody track, and every other instrument that was in this file is compressed and consolidated into utility 1. If I play it, it's going to sound terrible, but I'm not concerned with that because, again, it's the feel that I'm after, and I will play it. And this is what you hear. I've got my drums here on the melody track, just drums, which is all I wanted. And everything else is being played here, right? I don't care. It's all mashed up, but I don't care because that's not what I was after. I was after this drum track and this chord structure. That's what I was after. Now, this is important. It is playing through the sequencer. Once I enable a style, it's going to change it, but it's going to keep certain characteristics of this pattern. And I'm not a programmer, so I don't know exactly how it does it, and I don't care because I'm doing music. I'm not doing computer programming, you know what I mean? But I'm going to take this, so I'm going to find a style that will work with this chord structure and that drum track to give me the feel that I need. So I decided that it probably was in a more of a funk style, right? So I went to my style picker. Notice I'm in my style picker here. I'm going to select style picker. And instead of me trying to do it the hard way, I'm going, maybe this song is in the Band in a Box database, right? So I'm going to type in, That's the Way of the World. And there it is, Earth, Wind, and Fire. And these are the suggested styles that will work with this particular song that Band in a Box has created, right? So that's what I'm looking for. So when I click here, it shows me all of the styles that the system says are compatible with Band in a Box. What do I do next? I demo those styles to see if there is something in there that will really resonate with me when I try to put this track together. So I'm going to demo a couple of styles. I'll demo this. No. No, that's not even close, right? Let's try Lunar Acoustic Guitar R&B. No. But another trick I can use to try to figure out if it's compatible or not is this. I can click on the style and the demo for that will play. However, I can also play it against the chord structure. So if I play it against the chord structure, so let's just say I take Lunar Acoustic Guitar R&B and I'll play it against the chord structure. I'm going to go here and I'm going to go down to play, which says play using the current chord sheet for the song. So now when I play that, it's going to ask me, do I wish to enable the style? Now remember, when I enable that style, I'm going to lose a ton of MIDI stuff because it just tends to overwrite a lot of stuff that's in the sequencer. But again, I don't care because I have my drum track and I've got the overall feel of the song based on the chords that were written. So again, I'm going to say yes here. So when I say yes, it's going to play it against that chord structure. But that drum is still going to play. That's not close enough for what I'm looking for. No. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a search. And remember, so I'm looking through different styles, right? And I came up with this Bourbon Street New Orleans funk. So when I play that against the current chord sheet, see, that's really, really close. Really close, right? So I'm going to work with that particular style there, this Bourbon Street New Orleans funk style. So I'm going to bring it in. So once I decided that I wanted to use this style against this chord sheet here, right? I'm going to click OK. As I click OK, what happens? It shows up in my window and it shows that this style is Bourbon Street New Orleans funk. It's got a bass, a horn section, drums, guitar. It's got a loop in it. For those of you who don't like loops, it's got a loop in it, right? and my melody is still there. So my melody track is still there. My original melody track from the MIDI file is still there. Now when I play the song, I'm not going to play the very beginning. I just played it the 4 bars in. It's really, really close, isn't it? You know? Now, what is it I don't like is I don't think that the horn section did the song any justice. Those horns, you know, whatever. I don't care for those, right? So I'm going to take the horn section and I'm going to change that horn section. And I'm going, okay, it would be nice to have an underlying chord, just a sustained type chord instrument under that, right? So I'm going to change the horn section to something like an organ, like a B3, which was very popular, of course, in the 70s, right? So I'm going to right-click on the horn section. I'm going to select Real Tracks. And because I've used B3 in other sections, right, it will show up in my favorite tracks from recently chosen. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to look down and see, there's my organ, my B3 organ, right? I'm going to put this organ in instead, and notice it changes to organ. I'm going to regenerate before I play. Always when you change something in there, it's safe to just regenerate. Isn't that close? You know, whatever, right? You know, I'm in here, right? Now, I think that the drums are a little bit too busy. And remember, I'm still using the drums from the MIDI track. So now, what I didn't like is I didn't like the drums, right? The drum, you know, I didn't like that drum pattern. If you notice this drum pattern, I mean, it sounded okay with the rest of the track, but I thought it was a bit too busy, right? And I wanted that. So I'm going to change the drums out. So if I go to, and I look again and I decide to change the drums out, I'm going to right-click on drums. I'm going to look at my list of drums, right? So I'm going to try to find real drums from currently chosen favorites, because I always mark favorites. I'm just a big fan of doing that, right? And it shows me Southern Pop 16 R&B, whatever, you know, whatever you want to call it, right? I'm going to bring that drum set in instead. I'm going to regenerate. Now, when I regenerate, I can clearly see what these drums sound like against the pattern. See, I wanted it, and because of that, because I've captured that, I don't even need this. I don't even need the MIDI drums anymore, because I've got the actual feel of the song. So if you notice, I have captured through MIDI, using the MIDI file, using the drums, playing the chords against a pattern that's compatible. I have actually duplicated this song, and by the way, I have duplicated this song in all, I repeat, all real tracks. No MIDI tracks, all real tracks, right? So now that I've got this feeling, I can do other things. I can change the key, I can change the chords, I can do all kind of neat stuff now that I've done that, right? And that's how easy it is to take that. So again, if I play it again, I don't know what you've been going through my mind, but you and me can see. And notice, that's not even close to That's the Way of the World, right? But I can actually come up with a new song with the feel that I'm looking for by doing it this way. So again, just a quick recap, and this is short, but what did I do? What I did was I started, I'm just gonna do new again. I'll just do new. And I don't want to say this. So what did I do? I started from a MIDI file. So I went to File, I went to Open Special, I went to Open MIDI File, I opened my Earth, Wind, and Fire MIDI file. It came into play. I played it to see what it sounds like. I decided what I wanted was the drums because it already gave me the chord structure. I went to my sequencer to see where everything was. I opened my sequencer and it showed me that my drums were on channel 10 and my other instruments were varied between channels 1 and channel 11. I closed that window. I went to Edit. I went to Copy Special and I did a move. So when the window came up, and again, this is 2022. I think some of the other versions are pretty close to this, but I want to move everything except for the drums. So where it says all here, I said, yep, take everything, but I don't want you to mess with channel 10. I took that, I went to move the MIDI, I went to move the audio, and I put it on utility 1. I put it on utility 1, and there it is. Again, it's consolidated everything, so it doesn't sound that great, but I've got my drum track. Now I have my drum track and I have my chords. What am I going to do next is I went in, I decided to assign a style against it. I did my style picker. I typed in, That's the Way of the World by Earth, Wind, and Fire. It showed me styles that Band in the Box says are compatible with this song. I went down through my menu. I found a style called Bourbon Street New Orleans Funk. I played that style against the current chord structure. But before I did that, it stops and it says, do I wish to enable this style? I said yes. So when I hit play, my window comes up, says style is disabled. Okay to enable it? Yes. And I'm killing the sequencer now, right? That's exactly what I'm doing. I demoed it. I liked the way it sounded. I clicked OK. It loaded that out. I didn't like the horns because when I played the song, I didn't. Maybe you do, but I didn't like the horns. So I took the horns, changed the horns to a B3 organ, generated and now I've got that playing. I didn't like the drums because I thought the drums were too busy. So I went to the drums, selected a drum favorite, regenerated again, and like I said, now I don't need my MIDI drums anymore from my original MIDI file, right? I can shut those off now. Bring my drums up. Bring my guitar down. You know, however you decide to mix it, it's up to you, right? But what it did, it gave me an overall feel. So now I could create. I showed you a couple of minutes ago. I created a totally different melody. So it's that simple to do that. And it is to me, it's a very important tool to use in trying to do different styles of music that maybe the Band in the Box style maker or the styles they gave you didn't necessarily work for you. Is it going to work for everything? Probably not, but I have tried it on quite a few songs, and it actually has given me that feel that I wanted, and it actually works pretty good. And again, remember, I can change the chord structure, I can change the keys, I can do all kind of neat stuff. So I suggest give it a try and see if you like it, see if it works out for you, right? Again, for me and the things that I do, it has proven to be a valuable tool for me in getting closer to the feel of the songs of the type of music that I want to do. Okay, that's all I got for you today, right? I hope you. I had to stop for a minute because my dogs were barking. They little things, right? But they were barking, getting on my nerves, right? And anyway, I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye.